Okay, so we're continuing on taking a look at our measures of spread. So we're wondering about how spread apart our data would be. We've talked about a range, but that's only one piece of information. There's other pieces of information that can help us understand how spread out our data is. So this particular question has the following data represents 20 people's estimates of the size of a crowd at a junior football championship. So the 20 pieces of data are there, and then we're asked to find the measures of central tendency. So what we've looked at so far on measures of central tendency are the mean, the median, and the mode. Okay. We'll note that what we've got here is we've got a frequency table. A frequency table with the values from 275 to 1,000. We haven't grouped these data at all. We've just given, like, it looks like we're counting by every. Well, we're not even counting by anything. We're just taking every single. There's 20 points, 20 points of data, and we've just listed them all down in numerical order. So we're going to calculate the frequency for each item and then the cumulative frequency. So the 275 appears here. That appears just once, giving us a cumulative frequency of 1. 400 appears here, appears just once. And that gives us a value, a cumulative frequency, of 2. And 450 appears here. That's the only one. We now have a cumulative frequency of 3. I'll pause the video and you can all fill out the chart together, and then we'll come back. All right, so we've got our total here. Total frequency is 20, which matches our 20 cumulative frequency. In this particular case, we haven't grouped these into intervals. So this is ungrouped data. It's important to know. And for now, the columns, these last 3 columns, don't worry about those. Those are going to be something we're going to come back to as we take a look at standard deviation. So in order to calculate our mean, we're going to use the formula for ungrouped data. And that is the summation of x over n. This is, of course, just a sample. If these are the people that are estimating the crowd of the junior football team, there's 20 people. Estimates are in the 600s, right? Obviously, we haven't surveyed the entire population, so this is going to be a sample size. So our formula is the x bar. So it's the summation of x over the number that we've sampled. So we have to add up our values, all of those different values, 650 plus 400 plus 500. When we do that, I believe that we get 12,550. And then there's 20 estimates that have generated that. This gives us a mean of 627.5. So the average or the mean estimate is that there are 627.5 people at the game. 2, we have to look at our median. So we know that there are 20 people that are making our estimate. It's an even number. Half of 20 is equal to 10. So we are now looking at the value between the 10th and the 11th estimates. That's where our mean lies. So at 20 values, 10 is in the center. That means we've got 10 data points below, 10, and then followed by another 10 data points. 1 through 10 is 10 data points, 11 through 20 is another data points. So we need to find basically the 10.5th position. So I got to go on my cumulative frequency, and my 10th value occurs at 600. My 11th value occurs at 625. So it's going to be in between those two values there. So we're talking about 600 plus 625 divided by 2. So our median for those 20 estimates is 612.5. And then finally our mode. What appears most often? It looks like we've got multiple modes of two each. So we've got a 500, a 575, a 600, 650, 700, and 750. So all of those ones have a frequency count of 2. So it's a lot of them, but you can have more than one mode. So that's an example of multiple modes. Is there an outlier? I want everyone, anyone that's paying attention right now, put your hand up if you think there is an outlier. Hand down, put your hand up if you think there is no outlier. Okay, I think it's very debatable. Anyone that thinks that there is an outlier, what number would you say was the outlier?
275.
Okay, why? 275 potentially?
Because none of the other numbers are more than 5 or 100 marks.
Okay. Yeah, so this one is 125 below that last estimate. 900, it's 100 above. All the other ones have at most 100, a value of 100 off of any other score. So we could say potentially 275. We can say more than 100 away from any other value. All the other values are within 100 people of each other, 100 points. Like this is the population. It's not a huge outlier, but you could argue that there is an outlier. And what effect could an outlier have? We saw that yesterday. That it has very little effect on the mode. Has very typically in this case it has no effect on the mode. Very little effect on the median. Sometimes a small effect. It could have can have small effect on median, and then typically a larger effect. Typically larger effect on the mean. Okay, so that's all review from. It's actually review from the notes from 2 days before, and now we're looking at range, which is a review from yesterday. I'm going to pause the video here, and we'll continue it later.